Hey, Tracey, how are you? Love?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Look, fighting these technical difficulties. Glad that the internet, I got internet. It goes down. I have to reroute. Had a couple guests, but they couldn't make it. I definitely want to send prayers to one of our guests tonight, the lovely and beautiful Savannah Lynn. Savannah was actually coming in, but her children's school got shut down, and she had to take her babies to get a COVID-19 test.
Yeah.
And so this is something I think that many of our parents are dealing with. So we definitely want our guests and our viewers tonight who are watching us to engage with us. We will not hold you long. We definitely will. We really want to talk about some of these issues and some of the things that are happening. And what we're going to attempt to do is reschedule our guests and our panel discussion for next week, because it really was meant to be the final panel that we have around the election issues. Tracey, you're joining us all the way from the beautiful state of New Mexico.
Yes. The blue state.
What city? What state is it known as?
The blue state.
The blue state, because you got on blue. How are you liking New Mexico?
I mean, it's beautiful. I'm in Albuquerque. It's beautiful, and I don't know. I haven't been able to see. I just got here today, but tomorrow I'll be able to go and see more of the city.
Take lots of pictures and post them to your IG stories. I would love it. I'm sweating because I was running, trying to disconnect the internet router, reset the router to come back to the basement after hauling all my stuff from upstairs to downstairs, because the studio is in the basement. So it's just a lot of movement. So maybe I can one day afford to have two monitors so I can run the show from two different places, and we'll see how that goes. Tracey, how are you feeling this week? And to all of our viewers and guests who are watching, we want to know also, how are you feeling? I think last week we breathed a collective sigh of relief.
Did we?
Yes, and here's one of the panelists now. Let me see what's going on. So you don't think you didn't join a collective sigh of relief? I'm going to be honest. After the election results rolled in, and after we saw that Joe Biden had a clear lead, I think that many people felt a sense of relief that the reign of terror from President Trump was over, or so many people thought.
Yeah. So yes, I guess yes, we did feel this way. I think now I'm kind of concerned about some of the reports about a coup going on in terms of trying to figure out ways to overturn this loss. So I'm concerned about that. And I'm just also concerned that Biden won't have the Senate that he needs to get the things he would like done. And so there we are again, another 4 years, feeling like what's my vote? Why do I need to vote? Not me personally, but I think the larger majority of us will feel like, why do I vote? My vote doesn't count, Yeah.
Here's the thing. First off, with the Senate, that depends on what happens in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
The Senate right now, and let's just briefly talk about it. And then we're going to talk about Zach Thomas, who is in DC, one of our regular diversity and inclusion expert. He's a regular on the show with us. And, we're going to talk about that million MAGA march and the fear that may be around that million MAGA march. But it all comes down to who is going to win and have control of the Senate. And if we end up with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff in the Senate, then we will not have to worry about Senate control. It all comes down to Georgia. The question becomes, and Quayle, you joined us, you said the same thing. She said, we have a chance. The question is, do we really have a chance? Do we have a chance in the state of Georgia for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to actually win those Senate seats?
I'm kind of nervous about it. I think one of them will win. I do not think it's going to be Ossoff. And that's just not going to be enough for us to get what we need done in the White House. I'm going to be absentee voting, which is plaguing me right now.
Have you already applied for your ballot?
I applied for my ballot, but I put the wrong freaking date. And I sent the message and said, hey, I put 2020 and not 2021, and I haven't heard back from them. So,
because will you be out of town during that whole time frame?
I don't know. So I just wanted to be prepared just in case.
So, like Well said, we have a chance, but I do agree with you, Tracey. I think it's going to be slim. I actually think it might be the opposite of what you're thinking. Okay. Now, let me say this. I am a follower of Georgia politics, as everyone knows. I have been invested in politics for a very long time. From when I first moved to Georgia, Roy Barnes was governor. I saw how the state shifted. I saw how Roy Barnes messed up by pissing off teachers. And I've been able to, I really look at it and then be able to kind of think through and predict things through. This is the thing. They are beginning, and they started today, running aggressive ads against Raphael Warnock, very aggressive ads, attacking him. Raphael Warnock was in jail. He was arrested in 2002. That's starting to play over in ads, that scandal. Raphael Warnock is recently divorced or separated from his wife. There was a domestic abuse allegations that is now coming out and going to be. These are things that people know who read the news. But for some Georgia voters, they may not know these things, and they're going to try to paint him as a very negative character. That is Kelly Loeffler's approach. That is her MO. That's what she does. And the first round of ads targeted his rhetoric about white people, attacking black people, not liking black people. It's a pro-black message, but they're trying to say that it's an anti-white message. And they're also trying to say that he is the king of socialism, that he is the last key to giving America over to socialist ideations and socialist leanings. I think that in Georgia, that's going to resonate. And it's weird to me that it will, because the people voting for this race, many of them are actually poor white people. They're the ones who are poor, uneducated white people are being very susceptible to the language being thrown at them by two of the richest people in Georgia. Well, the richest person in Georgia, hands down, is Kelly Loeffler. She's one of the richest people in the United States of America, period. And then Purdue also, Purdue lives, I don't know if you know this, everyone out there, Purdue lives on an island. He lives on one of our Georgia islands that's surrounded by fences. That's his Georgia residence when he's not in Washington.
I think for me, I'm just troubled that poor white people still vote against their interest. Regardless, all they care about is the skin color. They don't care about the policies that these people are putting in place. They don't care about the rhetoric that they're spewing. And so for me, I'm just like, I don't give a damn what Warnock did in 2002. I don't care what he did yesterday. I'm still going to vote for him because at this point, I've witnessed Trump get away with everything. We have just ignored all of his inconsistencies, all of his incompetencies. And I don't care. I don't.
Is there anything that we can do to educate, or okay, you're right. A number of poor white people vote against their interest for reasons that can be speculated. We can speculate racism. We can speculate, misinformation. But is there anything that we can do as a society to counter that?
Counter racism?
Counter racism as a society, as well as the disinformation that is leading people in general to vote against their own interests. We know that there are more people in America, right now. We are living through the coronavirus pandemic. The majority of Americans are in desperate need of a coronavirus relief package, from our police officers and essential workers to our school systems to just everyday citizens. And that did not motivate people in Kentucky, one of the poorest states in the union, to vote against Mitch McConnell, who purposely held up coronavirus negotiations and blocked a coronavirus package.
Well, it's going to take other white people to talk to their white people. I don't think, coming from us, it's not going to be heard. More white people are going to have to speak up. They're going to have to speak on truth and stand on it. I watched an interview with Scaramucci. I think I said his name wrong, but yeah. He was just talking about how he only stayed in the White House for 11 days, but it was because he was witnessing so many untruths, so many falsities, that he was like, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I said something. And so because I said something, I was ousted. And so it's just going to take more of that, and not caring if they lose their status or position. They're going to have to stand up against what's wrong. It's going to have to be a moral issue. And it's a problem because a lot of these evangelical Christians are in the pulpit with large congregations spewing a lot of this negativity. And so you have that to combat. How you go against your pastor? So it's going to take some white folks to call them out. We're going to need the Andy Stanleys of the world to not straddle the fence. We're going to need the Andy Stanleys and what's his name? What's his name? Osteen. Joel
Osteen endorsed Kanye West. What
I'm saying is, it's going to take people of that stature to really speak out against what's going on.
Do we have religious leaders who are willing to do we have real religious leaders in this moment who are willing to do that? And I think, and Tiffany brings up a good point. People don't, you're right. Now we know this, Tiffany, this is true. Black people, white people, everybody, they don't realize it until something has to affect them. And then oftentimes it's way too late. There's a book, Quayle. Yes, he did. That was back. He made that comment or made some kind of endorsement of Kanye. He even had invited Kanye into his church, had one of his Kanye church services at his church. And I think that's when he said he was supporting Kanye. All of it being really an endorsement in support of Trump. After that moment, I completely shut off and stopped listening to Joel Osteen and being able to support Joel Osteen. There's a brand new book that I just found out about today, Quayle, that I think that you and I should read. And also, Candy, once you finish reading your book, anybody out there who wants to read, it's called The Strong Men. And it's about authoritarian leadership, like from Mussolini until Trump. And it talks about these leaders have a playbook and a style to circumvent and overthrow governments and oppress the people. What Donald Trump is right now doing, according to this author, and the interview that I heard on NPR, it's on today's NPR On Point. So if you have, I listen to the NPR podcast On Point, or if you listen to it on your radio, what she talked about is what Donald Trump is doing has been done multiple times. Vladimir Putin did this, where he probably lost an election, but he maintained and stayed in power by saying the elections were not legitimate. The difference is the American democracy and our balance of power being a three-part system should be so strong that there's no way he can stay in power. But what he's doing has been done before. It was also done most recently by Berlusconi. I'm not saying his name right. He was the leader, I think, in Italy, Berlusconi or something, and he did tons of horrible things, lots of corruption, and he got out of power. But guess what? He got reelected. He lost for 4 years and then came right back into power 4 years later. Now, Trump is 74 years old, and 4 more years he'll be 78 years old, the same age as Joe Biden, who is now getting. So it's possible he'll come back. But if we do the right work, work here in America, we can avoid this from happening, but there's a lot of work that we have to do, and there's a lot that everyone has to do. Yeah, white people have a bulk of work to do, but we're the ones being most negatively affected in this moment because we're being portrayed as the vilified enemy of people. The Black Lives Matter movement, when we had been oppressed, the whole world watched George Floyd get murdered. By watching that happen, because we were locked down in pandemic mode, it really did start to change the hearts and minds of a lot of people about racism. This hurt Trump, and immediately they had to create a counter narrative to bring those white allies back on their side. They didn't get all of them, but they got enough. 72 million people voted for Donald Trump, and some of them being members, some of them being of minority and marginalized groups. I think that we're at a crisis.
Absolutely, we're in a crisis. I was just talking today about how our brown brothers and sisters.
Just said what I didn't read the comment, but she just said what I said before she said this, is that we have a checks and balance system that should avoid him being able to steal and circumvent democracy. You know, other countries did not. But when when the Senate, which is the legislative branch, a key part of that process, are refusing to do what's right, you're going to lose a step. Then when Donald Trump has packed the Supreme Court with his supporters, possibly under the threat of you do what I say or I expose you because I have dirt on you, then the three-part system is compromised.
Well, how do we combat that? Because I really do feel like we are.
Tiffany said it too, what I just said.
I feel like we are helpless in this situation. The people, we don't have a fist in the fight. We don't have any help. Like, we're just talking heads at this point. We can say whatever we want, call out whatever we want, but if he's got all this information on all these people that he could hold over their heads, and like, we're not gonna win. I hate to be solemn about it, but
Joe Biden, like, you can clearly now see what his strategy is. And his strategy is to downplay this. The Democrat strategy is to downplay what Trump is doing. They're not calling it a coup. What Democrats are saying is that what Donald Trump is doing is simply being a sore loser. He's pouting. He's being a baby. Now, they know that this is a coup. So when you said a coup, you're right. That's what this is. But they don't want to give voice to that. They don't want to acknowledge that, because to do so empowers and emboldens him, and it also pisses off his base. And they know they need that base to eventually come back over to the side of reason, not to necessarily be Democrats, but just to be logical people again.
Okay, so Timothy Snyder gave 20 I don't know, 20 steps to us losing the Democrats, pretty much what he was saying, losing this race. And 12, I think it was 12 of 20, he says Biden voters are wrong to see a Biden administration as inevitable. Take responsibility, Democrats. And I feel that it's like, I think we're celebrating too soon. I think we're taking our eye off the ball. 16, he says, dance after the wedding, not before.
So here's the thing, though. That's what we're seeing. He's right, but here's the thing. I don't think that people are celebrating or that they're dancing. They want the American people to dance, because we're not able to do anything in most positions to change the course of what's happening. But I don't believe that Joe Biden and those who are in the know are celebrating. This is what I believe. I believe that the Democrats in power know the dangers of what Trump is doing, and they understand the threat to American democracy from the fundamentalism and populism that is now pervasive in the country. But this is what they are doing. Joe Biden immediately started having press conferences around real issues that should affect and should relate to a president. COVID-19 cases in the United States are at an epic proportion, and hospitalization is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
This is something that the president of the United States should be addressing. Donald Trump is so concerned with having lost his election, he is completely ignoring the real needs of the people that should be addressed in his remaining 70 days in office. Joe Biden is capitalizing on that and then portraying himself as a real American president. This, I believe, is by design and is a carefully orchestrated strategy on the part of Joe Biden and his administration to show the people this is what it means to be a president, to slowly gain back those Trump voters who have sins. And Quayle said earlier, there are some Republicans that don't think it's right either. That's correct. And in between now and the looming battles, they have to gain more support from that crowd. Donald Trump is constantly going with these lawsuits, and they're constantly failing. They're constantly being shot down. They're constantly not going anywhere, which is actually a really good thing. So,
well, he's gonna need. We're gonna need more people, more Republicans to stand up against him and to call a thing, as Ayanna would say. You know, we need to be okay with possibly losing something to gain back this country's democracy.
Well, the people have spoken, and the people have spoken. It is unfortunate that people like in the state of Georgia, John Raffensperger, Secretary of State, is actually going to allow a hand recount and put that unnecessary financial burden on the people of Georgia and on the time of the people that work for him. I think that is absolutely sad and disrespectful.
Well, they called his resignation. What else was he going to do? He was backed up against.
No, that's not against the wall, Tracey.
His people, though.
They can't make him resign. He won that office by the consent and will of the people. Kelly Loeffler, Dave Perdue can ask him to do anything that they want to ask him, but that's all political theater. He doesn't have to resign because they want him to resign.
What I'm saying is, there's something they know about this man that made him do this.
No, I don't think so. I think that he was simply bowing to political pressure and bowing to the pressure to try to stay in their good graces. I don't think they know anything about him. But, look at John Raffensperger. He's no Brian Kemp. This man is extremely professional, polished, and probably a little bit career-wise passive. And he's like, no big deal. If you want a hand recount, I can give you a hand recount. It won't change anything, but fine, we'll do it. I don't think that he's someone who will fight or stand up for himself in the midst of these attacks. He's a safe politician who wants to go along, to get along, do his time, have his career, and move forward. He reminds me of the Georgia Republicans that have led and worked in the state before him, like Nathan Deal, like Sonny Perdue. Sonny Perdue and Nathan Deal weren't aggressive, angry Republicans. We didn't have that in Georgia until Brian Deal won office. Had Casey Cagle been the Republican nominee, you probably would have had the same kind of leadership that we've had for the last 10 years in Georgia. The question is, are the people of Georgia going to be angry enough to now vote people like Brian Kemp out of office, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler out of office, to bring in a new generation of leadership?
That's the biggest question, I think. We need to usher in a new generation.
Yeah, and it won't make a difference. I think that the people of Georgia who are in the elections offices were very careful and very, very considerate before they even made announcements regarding these ballots. So I don't think it's going to change anything. And it's just a waste of time. And it's a waste of money. And you're right, Candy. He's the CEO of a major construction. These people are already wealthy.
They got money.
He doesn't need this. He doesn't need this. And so the question becomes, why does Trump need this?
So he won't go to prison.
Absolutely. I think it has nothing to do with wanting to be president. I agree with you, Tracey.
I think he's trying to save his butt. He knows he's only got a few years left to live anyway, and he doesn't want to live them in prison. But I hope he lives to be 100 and he's sitting in jail rotting. That's what I hope. I serve a God that'll come on down and give us what we ask for.
Exactly.
To see him get what he deserves in terms of the way he's treated people, the way he's, you know, stacked all these court, the way he stacked his children's pockets, these side deals that he's made, the way he's treated women. I want to watch him suffer from all the things that he's done.
Donald Trump is going to go to jail. He's going to pardon his children, so they won't go to jail. He is going to pardon Attorney General Barr, all the people in his administration that have been a party to his illegal activities. And he's going to pardon himself during the time that he was in office. But the things that he's done before going to office, that he will go to jail for. I do believe that.
I hope they get him. And I want them to have all the cameras on him as they are ushering him. You know, I want them to do him like they've done Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. I want it all. I want a witness. I want a front row seat. I want him to be like King Herod.
Yeah, I do too. But here's the thing: is that it's 72 million people in the United States that don't want that, right? That's something that we have to grapple with. So here's Zach Thomas is saying, you know, people of Georgia know their power. Yeah, they do. And if every single Black person and every single Democrat in Georgia comes out to vote, it won't be enough. Like, I don't think people on the national stage get that. Like, people are talking to a lot of pressure in Georgia, a lot of money coming in. But this state is not predominantly Democrat. We did not win over a number of Republican voters to the Democratic Party or to Democratic sentiments. When you look, you know what? David Perdue had 110,000 more votes than John Ossoff. However, Joe Biden had 14,000 more votes than Donald Trump. That means we had over 80,000 Republicans vote for Perdue, but not vote for Trump.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're not happy with Perdue or they're not happy with the Republican Party. That just simply means they're not happy with Donald Trump. We saw that across the United States, and that's why the Democrats didn't pick up the seats they thought they were going to pick up in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. Well-meaning, decent Republicans are not unhappy being Republican. They were unhappy with Donald Trump.
Well,
there's a whole lot more work that we have to do, and that both Ossoff and Warnock will have to do if they're going to win this election. It's not about the people using their power. People in Georgia are going to vote. It's just that we are not the majority. We don't make up enough of the population. Look at the demographics before thinking this is going to be a easy win for the Democratic Party. It won't be. There's a lot of work that Democrats have to do and that those two men have to do. And I'm going to be honest. I keep saying I am going to do my part. I went to an Ossoff rally this week, Tracey. I was right there. Mm-hmm. I am going to do everything that I can do, but I still don't know if these two men have the ability to win this election. And it's sad because I do believe that the future depends on it. I think that Joe Biden is going to have a lot of challenges from this Senate.
Absolutely. He's going to be tied. Look, his hands are going to be tied. My question is, what are Democrats not doing? Why are they?
I'll tell you.
Why are they deemed to be the weak party? I want to know, what is it? Because I watch a lot of, people talk about them, and they're saying that, they're weak. They straddle the fence. They're not aggressive enough. And so I'm like, well, what are they doing? Every time I see them, they up here fighting for a cause, or calling AOC is calling people out like those folks. I'm confused. Am I not watching, or what is it? What are they doing?
Right. So you make up a good point too, because AOC, one of our guests that's going to join us next week, actually did a video just ripping AOC apart. There was a big issue this week with AOC and Hakeem Jeffries, two legislators from New York. I don't know if you saw that, and Hakeem Jeffries, a black man who represents Brooklyn, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez represents Queens, and they went at it. She attacked him. They were both kind of running for, I think, a leadership position in the House. And I don't know if it was the same position, but I know Hakeem Jeffries won his position, but there are a lot of people that really feel like the brand of moderate centrism needs to end. Now, this is what Stacey Abrams said about that on The View. I think it was just today. And you're right. So Shirley, there's a lot of talk about this and about what he can pardon himself for and he can't. And what I'm saying is he can pardon himself for things that he did while he was president of the United States, but he can't pardon himself for the things that, like the tax evasion, the things that he's done in New York. That's why I'm saying he will end up going to jail. And we're going to talk about this third party in a moment, Quayle. But here's the thing. When we're talking about this is what Stacey Abrams said. Stacey Abrams said, you can't look to AOC and progressivism as though it's going to have any impact on the South other than turning people off. Because even black voters in the South are in the moderate range. We're not sitting here. Tracey, do you care about, today, as of right now today, do you care about climate change to the point where it's a major priority in your life?
No, but I know it will be an issue.
I'm saying today.
The things that I'm more concerned about today are the crimes being done against black men, black people, period, with the police. I'm really concerned about our education system. I just do not understand why those babies are in school. I don't understand why teachers aren't paid enough. What?
I'm just showing Quayle. Read this article, Quayle. Read this article. Because it's still unknown. So I hope he can, but it's unknown. You were saying, I'm sorry, Tracey.
No, I was just talking about the things that really concern me in terms of, it's not climate control. No.
We have, right. That's what I'm saying. Kanita is like, it needs to be a concern to everybody. And Kanita, I agree. But my question was, is it right now the primary predominant concern? Yeah. So here you have AOC sharing out the Green New Deal and making it a cornerstone for her reelection in New York, as it should be, because in New York, you have a different level of pollution. You have a different level of issues around the climate there in New York. But that is not something that's going to resonate in a John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock Senate race. The people of Georgia have different needs and they have different concerns. That focus hurt Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. The fight in the issue to defund the police matters. Black Lives Matter matters in Minnesota, Georgia, New York, California, Kentucky, places where you've had national instances of police violence that have caused the whole entire society to mistrust the police. But guess what? That did not resonate in Mississippi, Alabama, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona. It didn't resonate. So we have to be very careful and very calculated about the priorities of the moment. You get a 4-year administration. If Joe Biden prioritizes the wrong thing in those 4 years and doesn't connect with the American people, that will be the end of the Democratic Party. But
he's not going to be able to fix everything. He's not. So there are going to be some people who have desires and they are focused on certain things, and he's not going to be able to fix it. It's not going, but here's my thing. If he can fix this student loan debt of mine, baby, I am here for it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, Kanita, I agree with you. Universal healthcare matters to me, and I do believe that's going to be job number one. Here's what I believe. And you guys also share out what you say will be job number one. And Quayle, now with Nixon, that's what I want to say with Nixon. You're right. Nixon didn't pardon himself, but he also didn't have to because he knew that Ford was going to be there. And that was the first thing that Ford did when he became president. Trump is in a different situation in that there's no way in hell Joe Biden's going to pardon him. This is a question for everybody out there. What do you think needs to be the priority job number one? So I do believe that, again, COVID-19, job number one, top priority, as it should be, because you cannot fix the economy while COVID-19 ravages out of control. In addition to that, the American economy is also going to have to be a job number one, because we are in economic decline, on the verge of economic collapse and disaster. That's going to be a priority. Of course, affordable health care, the Universal Health Care Act, the Affordable Health Care Act, absolutely. It is going to be the priority in saving it from Trump's damage and restoring it so that it can really benefit the people. But I really believe that right now, every bit of talk needs to be around a coronavirus stimulus package. And I keep talking about that, and I want to, again, be transparent. I couldn't get any money for COVID-19. I didn't get $1 in the last stimulus package.
But did you stop working?
Exactly, because it was based on my income over the last 2 years.
Well, wait, did you stop working though?
I didn't stop working, but I was furloughed. So, just being transparent, I may have made X number of dollars in 2018 and 2019, but that wasn't what I was making when COVID-19 hit, and I got furloughed 1 day a week. I was furloughed 1 day per week. That means my monthly income was short by 4 days of work. I can actually tell you that my base pay was deducted by like $27,000 for the year. It's how much I ended up losing. So I absolutely would have qualified for some stimulus relief, but I couldn't get it because it wasn't based on this money or this year. It was based on the past. Here's the thing. We are on the verge of an eviction crisis. We're on the verge of a homelessness crisis. We're on the verge of a lot of economic issues, and we need a stimulus package. Everyone knows that. Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue voted against that stimulus package, and they wouldn't allow it to go. That's what Raphael Warnock and what John Ossoff need to be talking about and emphasizing in their campaign ads. That needs to be said and repeated over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know if that's happening. I don't know if that's happening.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what's going on. I don't.
In terms of what?
In terms of what their platforms are really about. I really don't. You brought me on the show and you talk a whole lot of politics. That's just not my lane. I have gotten better at it. I'm a little more educated in terms of politics, but I'm an actor.
And but here's the thing. But this is the thing, Tracey. You're an actor. But here's the thing, and an artist. But you represent the questions, concerns, and needs of every American woman out there.
I know, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm an activist. I'm not.
Yeah. And you should be.
I'm not a political activist. I've gone out to march a couple of times, but I'm not somebody. Like, I have strong opinions about things, but I am just not on the ground like you are. This is your daily walk. I'm sitting up here memorizing lines right before I got, I was up at the restaurant going over lines. I was not thinking about Warnock and his platform like that.
But do you see my point?
Yeah.
Because, and so Zach said racial injustices. Zach, I'm going to tell you, that needs to be a big part of the platform, but I don't know if it can be day number one. And here's the reason why. We know we need it, but if the Democrats don't control the Senate, we will not control the Senate in 2022.
Yeah.
This is a polarizing issue. And unfortunately, the majority of white America, which makes up the majority of the U.S. population, they don't see it as a problem because it doesn't affect them. And we have to find a way to raise our voice and show them that it does affect them, but do it in the right way, in a careful way.
Well, what is that way? Because everybody's saying fake news, fake news. This. The moment we highlight this in the country, people from over there will say that's not real. I don't believe it. The numbers are distorted. So it's like, for me, I don't. They're not reading books, so it's like,
right.
What is a way that we can educate?
That's right. And so what we have to do is do exactly what we're doing, right? So this whole thing, we had our podcast, And the format of the podcast was different, Tracey, than what this is. We changed some stuff up because it's a chance to reach out and to educate. These, recordings get shared, people engage, people ask questions. We just have to keep having these conversations. We have to keep going. We have to constantly think, what more can I do? And Candy says, you lost a lot. I did, but let me tell you, God restored it. So luckily in my job, a part of my incentive package was if I reach my goal, then I got my money back. I am sad that so many of my coworkers were in impossible situations they couldn't, but God made a way for me, as he will do for everyone out there. And I praise the Lord. Not saying I deserved it. I didn't deserve it. It's God's grace. But I thank God and praise God for that grace. To God be the glory. And I see you see my point about that, Quail.
I'm going to tell you like my mama says, favor ain't fair.
That's right. You know what? Let's talk about it. That's a good point. When you say, you know what, Tracey, here's a chance. Favor ain't fair. I believe that favor is fair and God is fair. But you know what the difference is? It's what you do with what God has given you and how you acknowledge that, right? God does not bless Zachary Kirk because Zachary Kirk is special or is deserving or is worthy of any special blessings in the world. That is not at all why I'm blessed. I am blessed and highly favored, like every human being is, because I am going to do what God directs me to do with what he gives me. God knows that if you are homeless on the street and you are down to your last and you call out his name and I'm in the vicinity, I'm going to give you my last on me because God tells me to do that. And that's why I believe I'm blessed. Because the more you give, the more you receive, and the more you have to do with what you're given. It's in the Bible, of whom much is given, much is required. And if you're doing what God tells you to do, you are going to always, you will always have your needs met. You will have more than enough. I couldn't give money to any man on the street if I didn't have enough for myself. And God knows that, so he's going to keep giving me so I can keep giving. Because his people are out there, and that might be the last straw. There's a homeless man on the street. His last act of faith to believe in God is to say, Lord, I need you to send me $10 right now so I can buy a bottle of whiskey. God answered his prayer with my $10 to buy his bottle of whiskey, because I'm not going to judge him or care what he do with the money. Because I'm not giving him the money because I care. I'm giving him money because God said, give him the money.
Well, if we just all operated, like my father says, if we operate like we were put on this earth to serve others and not self, then I think the world would just be better.
It would. That's the whole point. That is the whole point. You guys saw on my Facebook, I posted 2 of my 6 spiritual laws that I live my life by. Like I live by like these laws, like I live by the book and the Bible, not some minister's interpretation or somebody's doctrine. I study all that. I read all that. But I look at what the Lord tells me. So again, with that, read those 6 spiritual laws. I need to really write those out and really do something with them. Because it's from the Bible, but still, you're right. Love God, everybody, forgive your brothers and sisters. No Candy. Now I'm not perfect. And don't come here. Well, I don't forgive now everybody. I'm not gonna be able to forgive Donald Trump. I'm not gonna be able to forgive these Trump supporters that have hurt my nation. I'm not able to do that. Like there has to be a real level of reconciliation for me to forgive. That's why I'm boycotting so many things out here in this world today. Now I'm keep on boycotting. I'm not wearing H&M. I'm not gonna be no. Who else am I boycotting? I'm not eating Wendy's. I'm still gonna be able to do it.
Chick-fil-A.
I'm not gonna eat no Chick-fil-A. And I'm not gonna. What's that woman who was calling on the angels from Africa? I'm not gonna be able to support angels from Africa. And what's her name?
Paula White.
Yeah, Paula White. All them angels. I'm not gonna be able to forgive Paula White. Yeah. And I'm also not going to be able to forgive Real Talk Kim. Real Talk Kim. Yes, Paula White made a post about Donald Trump and Real Talk Kim. And yes, sister, or praise God or something in the post. You know what? I'm done with Real Talk Kim as well. Not gonna be able to support or endorse that.
I used to follow her, but I think I deleted her.
But then if there's someone like you've seen Christian Walker, right? The son of Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I've seen him. The cheerleader.
Yes, the cheerleader.
Oh, okay. No.
Quail wants me to forgive. Well, I'm gonna keep working on that, right? Because I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep working about forgiving. But I would forgive. I would embrace Christian Walker because he's a child. He's a kid. He's not yet a man, and what he believes comes from his parents and his background. I don't know with certainty that God has shown him and given him the knowledge to make the choice over what's real and what's wrong. So I would have to see that. So if, let's say, Christian Walker in 10 years comes back and says he made a mistake and all that nonsense he was talking was a mistake, I would forgive that.
Christian Walker.
Yeah, I'll send you some of his crazy videos. He makes crazy videos. I would not be able to forgive Candace Owens because we all know that Candace Owens.
Wait, Christian Walker is in support of Donald Trump, who's not in support of his sexuality.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest Trump supporters on social media. But his father, Herschel Walker, is one of the biggest Trump supporters also. That's why I'm saying I don't know. You're right, Candy. It's very tough for Scorpios to forgive. That's true. And they have to reconcile within themselves and seek reconciliation before they can be given that forgiveness. So you see what I'm saying, Tracey? Sometimes children are so indoctrinated by their parents that they're just simply parroting. But I do believe that throughout the course of your life, God will show you the truth. And if you choose to reject that truth, that's when you fall outside the scope of me and my forgiveness. But I'm just a Christian. I'm not Jesus. My walk is just simply to be like Christ, but not to be Christ. I can't do that. And you know what, Candy, you're saying she's a victim. Candace Owens is a victim of white supremacy. Candace Owens had the NAACP intervene in her life. I don't believe she's a victim of white supremacy. I believe that she is a proponent of white supremacy and a benefactor. I believe that she benefits from white supremacy, and that's why she does it. The same thing goes with the homeboy, your boy Tracey.
Jones.
Well, I don't like him either, but I'm
Van Jones. Okay.
But he's not as bad as Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, Waka Flocka, Kanye West. Those people are also benefactors of white supremacy. So what Donald Trump and these people are doing is lining their pockets, paying them, and therefore they're willing to sell out the community for their personal gain and benefit. When that happens and you do that, I'm not able to, I can't forgive that because we know better. I would never sell out anybody for money because a human life is more than that. And I wouldn't mislead people and miseducate people for money. Yeah, Attorney General Cameron. So, we talked about, and I don't want to belabor too long, we talked about the election. We talked about this upcoming Daniel Cameron in the Attorney General of Kentucky, who is actually now on Donald Trump's re-election battle. We do have, Tracey, I want to talk to you briefly about COVID-19. You just traveled. And so Zach Thomas, I'm not canceling everyone because they have a different opinion. I'm not canceling you because you have a different opinion. I'm canceling you when you do things to hurt people and oppose systemic racism and oppression. I don't eat at Chick-fil-A because they're racist and they're homophobic. I don't care how much they apologize. Their past actions show otherwise. So until the Truett Catholic family is removed from the equation, I'm not going to eat those nuggets. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I'm sitting up here on this boy's page and I'm just like, this man don't like you.
He doesn't. Well,
about you.
You can tell you. I want you to watch his videos because you will laugh at the video.
No, I think I'll be pissed off.
You will be pissed off, but you'll be pissed off and laugh.
My thing is, I have got to remember that I can't, I comment on people and I delete real quick because those things may come back to me. So I really do stay off the social media thing. I'll post my own little stories and I might swipe up and see about 10 people's things, and that's it. I can't get involved for
So,
my sanity and for my career.
and you have to protect that. And so, Tracey, here's a question in regards to COVID-19. You travel.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to travel. Do you feel as though your travel was safe? Like, do you feel good about the traveling conditions? Because I really do want to. In this house, we need a vacation. We need to go somewhere, and I need
where you can drive to.
so you don't feel good about the
I did not feel comfortable. It was packed in there. People didn't have, like, you have to take your mask down to eat. It was packed. I saw a mother that did not have a mask on. Her child did not have a mask on. Her child was hacking and snotty. And the mom took the hand and wiped her nose with her hand and wiped it on the stroller. Didn't go wash it. Didn't have nothing. And she was on my plane. And that baby coughed and hacked the whole time. So, no, I do not think traveling is safe. I had no other choice because I'm shooting a film.
You had to go, but you had your precautions. You had your face. You had your mask?
Yeah, I had 2 masks on. I couldn't breathe. Like
it was uncomfortable, but you feel like that was a precaution.
I wanted to cry. Like I felt that unsafe. And plus I'm a Cancer too, so I just felt that unsafe and uncomfortable. And yeah, it is nasty. And I was disgusted. And every time somebody coughs in life, I'm like, who is that? Even my cousin looks at me every time somebody coughs because I'm the queen of like.
Yeah, I was thinking
you were sick, take your ass home. Like I'm that person. So
I was thinking, face mask and then the face shield for travel.
I forgot mine.
That might be you maybe want to grab one while you're there, and then have your gloves on. This is why I wear gloves. A lot of people don't. They stop wearing. Some people never even started wearing gloves. I don't wear gloves because I think they're keeping my hands in it cleaner than anything else. But it reminds me not to touch my face and to touch my mouth. That I use my hands as a way of expression. So when I have on gloves, it reminds me not to do anything or eat anything or just involuntarily do it. What airline did you go with? Delta, United,
and we were on top of each other. Well, the first flight I was in first class. So I didn't have to, but the second flight, it was one of those little planes. And we were packed in it like sardine. Like it was packed and I was not happy.
Right. You do touch your phone, but here's the thing is that with the gloves on, it reminds you to also sanitize everything you touch. When you use your hands, I'm not as vigilant about the sanitization, taking my antibacterial wipes and wiping them down. So it's a process. You go to the grocery store, you have in your gloves, you wipe your gloves down with your antibacterial wipes, you wipe your phone off, you wipe your wallet off, and you wipe your keys off, and then you remove the gloves backwards and you throw them away. That is what they taught us in the very beginning. So I would have to have you guys give me some more insight as to why this protocol that I'm using isn't effective with gloves.
Well, the doctors said the gloves really don't protect you because if I touch this with the gloves and I touch something else with the gloves, and then I take the gloves off and touch the thing, it's still contaminated with the germ. So they were like, you might as well not even.
No, I get that. But again, I'm wearing the gloves to make sure I don't touch my face or use my hands in my mouth or anything like that, because that's how I typically, communicate. And so, yeah, it makes sense. But, I think, again, that's why you wipe your gloves down with antibacterial, bacterial words. So
contamination.
Oh, I would not. Yeah, I see what you said. No, this is me saying when I go to the store, the gloves come out of my glove compartment, oddly enough, and that's why you're not wearing them as like doing all this stuff in them. So I think, I see what you guys are saying, but I still, in the very beginning, those were some of the things they said. And knock on. I don't have any wood, so I won't even say nothing. So
in Chicago, she's shutting things down. She's putting
Mayor Lightfoot is shutting down. Shutting down Chicago. And I think that's going to be coming here as well. It's coming everywhere. It's coming everywhere. With that, Tracey, do you feel as though our economy can handle another shutdown? Even if it's a soft shutdown, to where they shut down your bars, they shut down your nightclubs, they still allow restaurants to be open but serve food to go, no longer eating inside like we were doing.
Here's my issue, is that had they shut the shit down to begin with, we'd still be going through this. But I just don't think the numbers would be as high. Until they get a vaccine, I don't know. This is. I mean, because think about it, movie theaters are still closed. I'm thinking,
the major chains are gone forever. I think Regal is gone forever, shut down for good, and Cineplex gone forever, shut down for good. They're never coming back.
I did not know that. I didn't.
They are folded.
Well, that's the thing. Like me being an actor, theaters have shut down, and we're talking about Broadway. Broadway has shut down, and these actors are used to making $2,000 a week minimum. That's their lowest pay. The understudies are getting $2,000 a week. So you're talking $8,000 a month to making nothing at all. They don't even get. I don't even know if they have unemployment packages. I think they do, but I don't think they're big unemployment packages. But that was the thing with me coming here. I knew I had tomorrow because we shoot on Saturday. I knew I had tomorrow, and I was like, "Oh, I can go to the movies." And then,
so yeah, I mean, I it's unfortunate. Have you watched any of your movies at home with the the $20 price tag?
What do you mean? The movies that come out?
Yeah, you know how you can watch them at home?
No, I've been Netflixing it. So I definitely think this is concerning. I hope that we can avoid a strict shutdown in Georgia, but I do think that it's coming. I think there's no way we can avoid it. As Kanita said earlier, we have hospitals this week have seen a tremendous surge. And I'm hearing that across the board, and it could have been avoided, but Donald Trump didn't support it, and our local governor and government didn't support it. And I don't think that they're going to willingly go in that direction anytime soon, unless it's a national forced mandate. And again, you know what, Quill? I think most educators are tired of working from home. But then again, what's sad is you could be like Savannah, who is going to be tonight's guest. Her kids are in Mississippi. They're going to school, and now you have a coronavirus epidemic, and now you got to deal with the fact that your kids may be infected with COVID-19 at the holidays. So she is right now at the hospital with her kids getting the testing. And, I just don't know if there's anything that can be done. You think 5 weeks, Zach Thomas? I really think we need. I think we need 6 weeks. 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah. We need.
And we could have easily had that. Like if we would have shut down in April until July, it would have been fine. We would have been, I think, in much better shape. We would have been okay. But now we're looking at, you can't, there's no way you can shut down during the holidays. The shutdown would have to be in January until maybe March.
I guess my question is, have enough people not died?
No. For them to realize.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the most shocking things to me. is that you only have 50 million COVID-19 cases in the world. 50 million that we know of. Yet in the United States, you have 10 million of 50. The United States is this big compared to the rest of the world, but we make up 1/5 of all COVID-19 cases. And yet and still, people are not taking precautions. I see people on social media living the very best version of their lives.
Yeah. I'd be like, I guess nothing. Like for me, I got a group of very close friends, and they be out all the time. I mean, out. And I'm just like, I guess the club, you miss the club that much. You know, my friend just said her boyfriend got it, gave it to his niece, his sister, and possibly his children. Like,
and then that's not stopping anything. And here's the thing, I think too that sometimes people are feeling as though they get it and then it's okay. But the reality is you can get it again as early as 4 months later. So we have a case in Georgia of a young girl, she's 16 years old in Lamar County. She had COVID-19 4 months ago. She now has COVID-19 again. Just 4 months is all, that's it, boom, got it again. Or yeah, 4 months. I think they said it was 4 months.
But I just wonder how are we?
But McKee, this is right here. This is going to cause the uptick. This is going to cause the mass outbreak. This right here is what's going to cause COVID-19 to blow up and explode around the United States.
Well, my family has canceled Christmas and every other holiday until next year. And I'm okay with that. I didn't want to get no Christmas gifts, no way.
My family is doing Christmas. They're coming here, but we're not going to leave here. So, you know, they're going to come to my house. You've been in my house. You know, we have the space. And so they're going to be here, and we're going to do Christmas here. We're going to do things that are family oriented, no going out and seeing Atlanta, none of that stuff. It's going to be stuff here, food brought in, everything here, cooked here. And then we're going to do maybe some outdoor stuff at the park, little things, but it won't be.
How many people, and are they quarantining now?
They can be. They have to work. They have to work every day, you know?
That's what I'm afraid of.
They have to go to work every day. But I will say, you know, it's just the immediate family. It's just my sisters, my nieces and nephews, and my mom. So it's the immediate family, no external people, no like cousins, and unfortunately no aunts and stuff like that. But still, that in and of itself is a risk. But I think you have to do the appropriate precautions that they're talking about with those risks.
See, for me, I get tested all the time because
you have to.
I have to. But even with my clients now, I have asked, when's your last COVID test? Because you're not going to stop my bag because you ain't you don't know if you got it, you know. Right. I only take people now that I know are on set because I know they test every 2 days.
That's right. So yeah, we do a test. I do every 2 weeks in this house. But again, I'm gonna inquire and ask my family to do the exact same thing because my mom has a compromised immune system with Crohn's. So that is the hope. You know, but I think if having the COVID-19 test and then being very cautious leading up to the Christmas holiday will, I think, make a big difference. I do. I hope so. I pray so. I believe so. But I would love to see a coronavirus stimulus package passed before January, and then see a restrictions put in place that would help us through.
With this president, good luck.
Yeah,
he's not
Friday. Exact comments last Friday, so it'll be a week on Friday.
I just had one today at 3:30.
But and to be honest with you, like, we haven't ever really stopped quarantining in terms of like social outings. You know, my family, we take this very serious. Like my family in Mississippi, they go to work because they don't have a choice. But that's it. Like there's no that I'm aware of additional risk being taken.
That's where people are catching it at work.
Yeah,
that's where they're catching it.
Because people should not have to go to work. That's the whole point of why we need the stimulus package, and why businesses need the need to have it.
What are you looking at that got you?
One of our guests is saying that I didn't email them the appropriate link. So I'm just trying to go back and prove that, yeah, I did. I did send you that.
Woke up for Zach, okay?
Yeah, but you know, and then again, a lot of places are suppressing those results. That's right. And you have to be tested. You have to know, and that's the benefit too of being in the healthcare profession, is that, it constantly lets you know where you are. And then if you do contract it, you can easily trace kind of back to kind of identify the source of probably your positivity rate. Tracey,
it has hurt my love life tremendously. I am afraid to touch anybody. Hug, kiss, nothing. What?
No, I was looking at that text and he's actually right. Something didn't go through. The email, I pulled the email up. And so yes.
Here's
a question, Kanita. What happens when a baby tests positive for COVID-19? Like, what does that mean? Do we even know what that means? So, Tracey, we're waiting on a vaccine, and this has been a point of contention. Are you going to take the vaccine?
No, I'm going to let the first batch of people, because I do believe in the Tuskegee experiment. So I'm going to let the first batch go through and see how people respond, see what the numbers say, and then the next, or maybe the third batch, I'll get one.
So, I am going to, so one, Zach Thomas says you ought to try virtual dating. That virtual dating could be nice.
But let me explain that Zach Thomas and Dr. Zach, I have never been like a real texter type person. So being plugged to my phone in that way is difficult because computer either. I don't like it. And I work a lot. So I'm doing a lot of Zooms and stuff. I don't want to. It's just too much. And which person did I tell this to? And I don't have time.
You had that Netflix show where they were divided by the wall. They were talking through the wall. It could be an adventure like that. Could be. And quarantine. I think that it does build better friendships because you can communicate more and you communicate in a different way, and you don't have as much to do, so you put more time into your relationships, that are there. I agree with this, but I am the anomaly. I'm getting the COVID-19 shot as soon as they say I can get the COVID-19 shot. The day they say Zachary Kirk can get the shot, I'm going to get the shot. And I agree with you about this. They haven't mastered a flu vaccine, but they won't ever probably master, and they won't master COVID-19 vaccine because of the nature of the virus. I don't think it's possible. But I get a flu shot every year. I've gotten a flu shot every year since about 2002 when I first started teaching, and I don't get the flu. I believe that all the flu strands I need are in this body, and if I keep getting my shot, I'm going to be okay. I might get COVID-19 in the beginning of them administering the vaccine, because you do know the vaccine is going to be forever. Like, we're going to have to take this every year. And they say as of now, the first version, you're going to have to take 2 shots. Like shot number 1, then you got to go back like X number of weeks later to get shot number 2. And this is going to be yearly that we'll have to do this because COVID-19 isn't going to go away.
But it's been here.
In some format. So I am going to go and get my shot as soon as they can, because I feel, and I pray to the Lord. I'm not afraid of it, but I'm also feeling as though I'm relatively healthy, and I feel as though whatever issues may come, I will be. I think okay. I believe they've tested this, they've done their trials, and I feel as though it would be safe enough for me once it's FDA approved to get this and then to take it.
Answer, Candace. No, I don't have a male friend that is consistent enough for me to hang out with.
Trust.
I just don't know if he's hanging out with someone else too. So, I haven't had a consistent man in my life for 7 years. I date, but
Yeah. Quail, did your pediatrician say that was okay? Like, did they say, yeah, it's probably fine? That's a good question. I would love to know. Did they feel like, yeah, it'll be okay? And I'm sure that there's no symptoms or anything that's lingered. So I think, I think there's just different. People have different consequences with it, but I think for the most part, many people are having doing what you're saying, and kids are getting it like you're saying.
So did Quail had COVID?
Yeah, Quail had COVID this summer, and she had a baby recently, so she had to, breastfeed, in that process. So then, my kid's like, the hell, yeah. So, I'm gonna get it, and I think I'll be, I feel confident. And making it mandatory, I do not believe they can make it mandatory. And to be honest with you, I don't believe they should make it mandatory, but I do believe they should put in restrictions in place if you don't get it. Here's an example. If you want to go and eat in a restaurant, you have to either have proof of your vaccine or proof of negative COVID results taken the last 2 weeks. I think that's fair, and I think that's the way they can kind of do that for those who refuse the vaccine. But I do believe you have the right to refuse the vaccine. She's like, and many of my friends who are healthcare workers say the exact same thing. This is exactly what Chris said. He said he's not taking the vaccine either. But I'm gonna rush and I'll be there on day one.
I'm watching you. I'm gonna see how you do. I'm gonna be like, you all right over there?
Yeah. So we will. So Tracey, I know that you in New Mexico is a different time. What time is it there?
8:20, and I'm supposed to be at dinner at 8.
So you guys have like a little dinner, cast dinner, getting together. I hope that you enjoy your filming. I know it will go well. I know you will do an amazing job. And I also know that you're going to meet people and have other connections that will lead to even more opportunity for you in 2021. I
received it.
So we'll see. I don't think it'll be mandatory. I really don't. I think they couldn't even make wearing a mask mandatory. I don't think they can make the vaccine mandatory. I think a lot of your employer can. I think some of those things will happen, and I think they're going to make it very challenging for you not to get it. But I don't think it'll be truly mandatory. And everyone, good luck to you. Well, we're going to find out. A lot of data is going to come out before it comes in. Well, Quail is not Quail. How did you say it, Tracey?
I was saying Quail.
Oh, maybe I probably say it wrong sometime. I think it's Quail.
What did you say?
I say Quail.
What is it, Kale?
Is it Kale? Like, spell it. Is it Kale? It's Kale, not Quail. It's Kale. Like a kale. Well, that's fine. It's Spanish. Okay, kale. I got you. I would say kale, like that. Those nasty greens that my mama didn't cook that y'all not eat, like they're so delicious.
What? Listen, no. There is a restaurant, Bella, over by my house that has kale and turkey. Y'all, the best kale I've ever tasted. Better than the collard green. Better. It is delicious.
So we will. I'm still waiting. We're gonna have a socially distanced lunch at this restaurant. I will definitely get the kale. So with that said, everybody, thank you guys for joining us. We will not hold Tracey any more time up, and we hope that we can get our crew back together for the next time.
Yeah, and if anybody has a male friend that they think I would be good for, holla at your girl.
Yeah, holla over there. I hate kale. Not kale, the guest here with us, but kale, the greens. I think that somebody went out and pulled some leaves up and said, now we have a new thing to eat. And everyone's eating it. I don't like to eat stuff I didn't grow up eating that wasn't actually in the earth, right? So like I don't have a problem saying like I didn't grow up eating eggplant, but eggplants existed in the 80s, so I could eat an eggplant. You know, I'll eat eggplant, but we didn't have kale in the 80s. You didn't have kale in the 90s. You didn't have kale in the recent. You said what?
Where did it come from?
Yeah, it was some leaves they pulled up somewhere, and now you know we're eating it because food scarcity. I'm not gonna eat that.
I'm a Cancer. I'm a real Cancer too. I just discovered that my sun, rising sign is Capricorn, and my moon sign is I
don't eat that either. You can't go into your grandma's pond and catch tilapia. I'm not eating that.
I don't like tilapia.
Don't you? What's your moon?
My moon is Cancer. So I'm a Cancer.
Are you a double Cancer?
Yeah.
What's interesting is that my sun sign, of course, is Scorpio. My rising sign is Sagittarius, and that's probably why I'm so outgoing compared to a lot of people, and probably why I'm very like temperamental and volatile, and I'll just explode out of nowhere.
That's
Sagittarius to me. But I also have my rising sign, like you. I'm a double water, so I'm Scorpio sun and Scorpio moon with Sagittarius rising. So
she said, "Oh, Lord, I know I'm a little sensitive. You can't, you got to be gentle with me."
Yeah, they are very caring. They're very nurturing sign. They're the most nurturing sign.
To a fault. My ex told me that. He was like, "You was too good to me, to a fault." Huh?
Too nurturing. So take pictures. I want to see, what New Mexico. I've never been to New Mexico. I'm very unlikely to ever go.
Yeah, it's nothing to it, really. It's nothing.
It's a blue state, though, so it's on my list. It is a blue state.
I'm going to the museum. They have a museum, so I'll be walking to the museum up the street tomorrow.
Take pictures. I can't wait to see them, and we will see you on next week. Bye, guys. Team area, everybody's here.